Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet Violet VGC video. I'm Jose Rocks, and today we're going to be taking a look at, let me turn this music down just a little bit. Sorry about that. Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at the restrictors that came back in the Pokemon Home update. I kind of wanted to rank them. I already did a video ranking all of the returning Pokemon that are not restricted. The Mythicals are always usually banned, so I didn't really rank them. But I just want to do the restricted since I didn't include them in the last video. And I wanted to, get some details out about them, about what I think, how good they'll be once they do return to the meta or the format. They're currently not available. Usually restricteds come maybe like a year later, so maybe it's a format next year. We may have the restrictors depending on what Game Freak wants to do. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hope you guys are enjoying Regulation D. We're just not actually playing it because it hasn't started yet, but it is available on Showdown to play if you want to play the on-game ladder for Showdown. But as far as enjoying it, I just want to know, question of the day, what's your opinion on Regulation D? I know a lot of you have been team building on Showdown, so I want to know if you're having fun crafting some ideas and theories of what you think is going to be good, or what's your first team going to be. Just what's your opinion on Regulation D? In my opinion, I'm excited for it. I'm always open to every new format with new rules. I like new things, and I like the formats constantly changing, because to me it keeps it fresh. It keeps it fun to make content, and it just works out for me. But that's just my personal opinion. I love the changing formats. So we're gonna for the first category is gonna be meta revolving. So this is pretty much which Pokemon I feel like the meta is gonna revolve around, which are gonna be the best ones, which ones you're gonna see on pretty much 80% of all the teams. The next category is gonna be really good. It's just a Pokemon that's not meta defining, but it's still like a really good option. And depending on if we're playing like a dual restricted format or just a single restricted format, I'm not sure which one they're gonna do. That can change my opinion on some of these rankings. But right now we're gonna be using it as if it was a single restricted format, right? Instead of a dual restricted, because that completely changes it. Usable but why is just another category to where I feel like a Pokemon it's useful. You can make it work, but why would you use it over like another thing that kind of has a similar role, or is just better at what it does, or taking up your restricted slot? And then don't use this is just Pokemon I feel like you won't use. Now, like I said, this can change based on a dual restricted, because then you have the option to choose two. So then certain things are better to use. Like back in the old series, in Sword and Shield, what was it, Series 8 and Series 8, Series 10? It was a single restricted format, right? And you will use Zacian over Zamazenta, right? But then in Series 11 and 12, you could use a second restricted. So then you could potentially use, Zacian plus Zamazenta. I think that's how it was. I believe. No, it was Series 8, 10, and 11. So 8 and 11 were the same, and 10 was the same, but the only difference is Dynamax was banned. So Series 8, 10, and 11, you can use one restricted, right? And Series 12 was the one that brought two restricteds. So in Series 12, Zamazenta, it was a little bit more viable because you can use it alongside another restricted, and it was a really good support restricted, right? But like I said, we're going to be ranking this based off a single restricted format. So starting with Mewtwo. In a single restricted format, don't use Mewtwo. I know Mewtwo's, the OG legendary, the first one, as far as like being introduced in Gen 1, but I wouldn't even say it's usable because it just gets KO'd by everything. Maybe since there's no more Dynamax, I put usable but why. And I say usable but why because there's another psychic type restricted that does this role just a little bit better and is doing more damage on the psychic side that you would like. Plus it has like a secondary typing, right? So now that Mewtwo does get incredible coverage, we could go to Showdown, pull it up. Yeah, this could work offline. So we could do it based off Regulation D. This is a little team I've been working on. So let's do new team. with Mewtwo. Well, actually, not because it's banned in regular D. So we'll go new team, Mewtwo. So Mewtwo gets incredible coverage, right? On the special side. And it could be a physical attacker. But a special side, Blizzard, Energy Ball, Earth Power, Dark Pulse, Aura Spear, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Hurricane, Ice Beam, Power Gem. Like, it's just Thunderbolt. It's amazing like how much coverage this thing gets, right? So this is like a really good Terra Pokemon. So I would say you could put a Choice Scarf on it. Just because its speed is 130, so you can outspeed things that you need to. And then you can slap, you know, Shadow Ball on it. Put a Ghost Terror. And now you beat Calyrex Shadow and Fluttermane, right? I'm not sure why it's freezing. Alright, so we'll give that some time. But I think it's going to be a really good Terra option. So I would say it's usable. You can make it work. I wouldn't say don't use this. I don't think it's that bad. Because I need to grade these based off my knowledge of what it would be with the mechanic of terrestrialization, right? And not Dynamax. In Dynamax, it was really bad because you don't want to be using your Dynamax on Mewtwo just to get like one shot by Zacian and Behemoth Blade, right? But now that you can terrestrialize into a fire type or a steel type and resist the blade, that changes everything. So I think Mewtwo can be decent. Kyogre, it's going to be meta evolving. It's going to be the best range setter. Choice Scarf, Water Terror, Water Spout is going to be crazy damage, right? I'm about to type Choice Scarf. Kyogre. This thing with Choice Scarf, and you can even go Choice Specs. The team that I hit #1 on the ladder with was Yveltal. Yveltal's not back, but you can always still go like Tailwind plus Choice Specs, Water Terror, Water Spout. Like, that is crushing everything, right? And then all you need is about this much speed to outspeed everything that's not on a booster energy or has its own speed control outside of Regieleki, right? And then you can go modest and get the most out of your special attack. And this is what I hit #1 on the ladder with in Sword and Shield. It was Choice Specs, Kyogre with Yveltal, with Choice Scarf Yveltal, with Choice Scarf Tailwind. And what I would do is go for Choice Scarf Tailwind, right? Go for the Water Spout first turn, and then the next turn I would Dynamax Yveltal and go for Airstream or Max Darkness and combo that into Kyogre outspeed and everything, and just completely like sweep through teams in like one or two turns, right? So Kyogre is gonna be really fun. Choice Specs, Choice Scarf. You can also go Mystic Water if you want to have Protect. If you want to just, you know, play a little bit more consistent. Mystic Water will work with Protect, and then you can have like Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, and Protect, right? So this is also a good set. I've seen some sets be Ice Beam, Origin Pulse, Calm Mind with leftovers, right? And that can be a decent set. Like, Kyogre has so many sets, but if you want to use like Thunderbolt on it, then I recommend going with the Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, you know, and that way you can use Thunderbolt, get rid of Calm Mind. You won't need that. You need Water Spout, right? And like, this is probably be the set you see the most initially before people start to innovate and then go to like Choice Specs and leftovers and Life Orb and things like that. So, you know, Kyogre is going to be really good. I don't mind it. I know it has good counters. I know Gastrodon always comes back into the meta when this thing is there to help check it. So, moving on. Groudon. The reason I would put Groudon in meta evolving, but the reason I'm going to put it in really good is because there's another restricted Sunsetter in Koraidon. And we haven't had a format with both Groudon and Koraidon both in it. So I'm interested to see which one is going to be the better Sunsetter out of the two. Koraidon seems like it's going to be doing a lot more damage with his signature move, but you can't discount, you know, like Groudon, Ground Terror, Precipitous Blaze, even though it's a little bit inaccurate, doing a lot of damage. So I can change this once we do get a format announced, and Koraidon, I have a list with it on it, and then we can decide which one's better, right? But for right now, I'm going to put really good because it's still going to be good, but I don't know if it outclasses Koraidon just yet. Koraidon does have a 4x weakness to Fairy, but you can just terrestrialize away from that, right? So that's why, you know, terrestrialization is a really unique mechanic. So Rayquaza, let's see. With terrestrialization, I want to say it's usable. Rayquaza. I know you can run it physical or special, so it's your choice. I like the special sets just so you're not intimidated. But it does, you know, its signature move, Dragon Ascent, is on the physical side, right? And it gets like, does it still get extreme speed? Yeah, it does get extreme speed. So like normal Terra, this is gonna be like another extreme speed spammer next to like Chien-Pao. So it actually is pretty powerful on the physical side. Then you get this like a clear amulet, like Norma Terra. And now your extreme speeds are hitting harder than Dragonite or Arcanines, right? So I actually do see this, like, you can even, like, I would go this clear amulet so you're not intimidated. But if you don't care about intimidate, if you have like a Defiant user on your team, you can go Focus Sash, right? And then extreme speed, Dragon Ascent, Dragon Dance, and Protect, right? And like this, you stuck on Airlock. This set next to Chien-Pao is like really like, this is gonna be fun to use. If you want to use it on the special side, I would say left Life Orb, and then you can go like Stab Hurricane in a rain on a rain team. So with Tornadus, set up the rain, so you have Stab Hurricane. You go Flying Terror to get rid of your 4x weakness. Flying Terror right here. You go Flying Terror to get rid of your 4x weakness. You won't need Dragon's Ascent. I would say Steel types resist it, but you go Earth Power, right? Ground and flying coverage is good, similar to like what Lugia likes to run, the ground and flying coverage. And I wouldn't say Hydro Pump because it's so inconsistent in the rain. Flamethrower is not good in the rain. I would say just Draco Meteor, just so you have stab move, something like this next to Tornadus, and then you know max like that, and this could be a really good set, you know. And and this helps you outspeed. You know, you really only need this about this much to outspeed Regieleki if it's not on Tailwind, and then you can go Modest and get the most out of your special attack, right? And then you're just hitting crazy hard. So Rayquaza can be good. I am gonna try it out myself. Terrestrialization does make a lot of these restricteds better than they would have been in a Dynamax format. So next, Dialga. So Dialga, I want to say usable, but why? Because it has this new origin form, I don't know how good Dialga is going to be in this current format, but it does get like a lot of coverage, just similar to Mewtwo and Rayquaza. So I do feel like it will be good. I used to love using Dynamax Dialga with like Grimmsnarl with Fake Out and then Life Orb Dialga and just one shot everything with like really powerful max spread moves. I think it's gonna be really good. I don't know if it's gonna be meta revolving yet. I'm not sure about it because I haven't used it. Pressure, Telepathy, its abilities, and unless you want to use like Earthquake next to it, then you probably go Telepathy, right? It has the Adamant Crystal, so it can't have an item, right? Because that's the only way it can be in that form. And then it is a special. You definitely want to 150 special attack. You want to definitely be a special attacker. I mean, it's pretty much the same coverage that Dialga gets. So I mean, if we're comparing them, Dialga has a higher attack, but you don't really need the physical attack. I did see some physical Dialgas back then, but wasn't really common. So it's better special defensively, similar defense, same attack, and they both 150. So the only difference is they take 20 out of the attack and just put it in the special defense. So it's bulkier on the special defense side. So you don't really need the attack stat, and they're the same speed. So since you don't need the attack stat, then you always want to go with this Dialga version, right? Because it's bulkier on the special defense side, which is going to be good into like Calyrex Shadow. You can't put an Assault Vest on it, but you can like invest heavily in special defense and HP, and then like this, and now you could terrestrialize it, and now you're going to be good in the Calyrex Shadow, right? Because what you need to do is be able to resist those Astro Barrages, I wouldn't go normal terror. Well, you have to be normal terror or dark terror, and both of those get hit by fighting type attacks, which you're already weak to. So I would say maybe like an offensive terror on this, maybe like a just go full steel type and get the most out of your steel type stabs, right? It's gonna be flash cannon, steel beam, one shot things if you go terror steel. And like I say, normal terror is gonna be a really good terror when the restrictors come. For the simple fact that Calyrex Shadow is gonna be running around everywhere, outspeeding everything and clicking Astral Barrage and getting a special attack boost. And you want to be able to resist or be immune to that, right? So you're gonna be wanting to be Dark Terror or Normal Terror. But I think Dialga is gonna be okay. I don't think it's gonna be meta refining. I'm not too sure about it, but we'll see because I haven't played with it. Palkia is same, usable, but why? I think that this Palkia is definitely gonna be better. I think it's gonna definitely be better than that Dialga based on what I had saw from. I think it's faster than the original Palkia. So let's take a look and compare them. And from my knowledge, these Pokemon all get the same. They all get the same moves. I don't know if Palkia and Dialga have. What? Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know if they have like a signature move. Besides Spatial Rim, but that's the original signature move, right? They don't have like a new signature move, I don't believe. Yeah, they don't. So this is gonna be a special attacker too. But the thing about this, they took 20 out of the attack, and instead of adding it anywhere else, right, they added it to the speed. So this uses that even better. So you're still gonna want to use this because you don't need the attack stat. And now you're base 120, so now you're just faster Palkia, right? And you still hit the same. So I think the water dragon typing is really good. Like you're only weak to like freeze. Well, you're 4 times weak to freeze dry, but you're only weak to like fairy. You're not weak to ice. You're not weak to what else is? You're not weak to electric because these types cover each other. You're not weak to grass, right? So it's really just fairy and freeze dry, if I remember correctly. Might be one more that I'm missing. But yeah, this Palkia is going to be a lot better than the original Palkia. So I would say really good. Giratina, don't use this. I mean, if you want, I guess usable. If you want like a really bulky ghost type to just soak up, you know, damage from Calyrex Shadow and hit it back with like a Shadow Sneak and stuff like that, this one's actually gonna be, yeah, don't use this one. If you're gonna use it, this one is the physical one that's better at doing like Shadow Sneak stuff, which can threaten Calyrex Shadow if it can't Terra, right? This is just gonna be like a tank, but I wouldn't recommend using it. I don't think it's gonna be that good. Zacian, usable. It's just straight fairy type. It's gonna be pretty good, but I don't think you're ever gonna see it unless you just like somebody just wants to run an item on it. Because these are, like I said, the crown forms are gonna be in the game. If this crown forms wasn't in the game, I would say this is really good because there's no other version of Zacian to use. And Zacian is still a strong Pokemon without its crown. But now that its crown is born, it's gonna be meta evolving. They did nerf its attack a little bit, which I did notice, from 170 to 150, but it still gets Behemoth Blade. It still gets, you know, Play Rough. Its only weakness was really Play Rough, missing 10% of the time, and then Close Combat or Sacred Sword. And then we could always drop Sacred Play Rough for like Substitute or Quick Attack, right? Like Zacian had a lot of fun sets, even Swords Dance. Like now it gets Trailblaze too. You go Wild Charge. It has a lot of different strategies. Like now you get Terra Blast, so you can tear it into a different type. And I think Trailblaze is really interesting, giving Zacian a speed boost, right? And also give you grass coverage, because like what Kyogres don't like to deal with are Gastrodon. So Gastrodon is going to be everywhere, right? And Gastrodon can eat up like a lot of, like a physically trained Gastrodon can eat up like a lot of Zacian's hits. And now you can go like Trailblaze and just remove it like immediately if it can't tear, which I think is really neat about getting Trailblaze. Zacian is gonna be good, man. Like, you can't deny this Pokemon. 148 base speed, like, just it outspeeds everything, man. You go Jolly Nature, you don't even really need its one base 150 attack. Like, you don't have to go that much attack to just be, you know, dealing them crazy amounts of damage. I would say even this much attack, and then you get a +1 attack boost, and now you can just invest in defense. Like, it's such a good Pokemon, man. You know, it's the reason that, you know, it and Calyrex Shadow together won Worlds and Sword and Shield. But Zamazenta, don't use this version. It's not gonna be good. It's strictly fighting. If you are gonna use Zamazenta, use this. I think it is better than regular. I think it's better than. I don't know if it's better than these. I would say Palkia might be better in a non-Dynamax format. It can be like really bulky with defensive terror, and plus its ability. We'll see how it does. Like, I want to change this list after we play the restricted format a little bit when it comes out, but we'll see how well it does. Eternatus, this was good in Series 10, which was a non-Dynamax format. I think it's going to be good. The Poison and Dragon typing is really good. It has a very high special attack. It's 145. It's like one of the strongest special attackers in the game. You know, you can go max that, and you don't really need speed investment. This thing, like 140 base HP, like you invest a little bit into his defenses, you know, a little bit into his special defense. You don't really need speed like that, right? And then put the rest in HP. Like, this thing can be so bulky. Dynamax Cannon, even though you can't hit Dynamax Pokemon anymore, still a base 100 Dragon attack with no drawbacks, right? It does get Draco Meteor if you want to just go for like burst damage. Flamethrower is always good on it to hit the steel types that resist Dragon, the Draco, the Dynamax Cannon, and are immune to like Sludge Bomb, right? Which is his other stab. And then it gets Flash Cannon too, so it can hit Fluttermane, right? You can just go Assault Vest on this thing, and it's just specially defensive, taking a lot of attacks, right? It's gonna be really good. And now you could probably go like Terra Flying to get around the ground type weakness, because Psychic types are usually not really that common. You still keep your Ice type weakness, but you can play around your Ice type weakness, right? And most, well, I guess Glacier will be coming back, but most Ice type attacks that'll be outspeeding you, hitting you first, is really Iron Bundle, and you can kind of soak that up with Assault Vest. So I think Eternatus is gonna be good. I think it's gonna be really good. Calyrex normal, don't use it. This is the worst restricted out of this list. It's not gonna be good at all. It can't do anything without its fusion. You just be holding yourself back if you're using this. You could use it for a meme like Focus Sash and just be like a bulky Trick Room setter, but at the end of the day, you might just want to use Calyrex Ice, right? So I can go ahead and rank these two. And I do want to put these in order. I think Calyrex Shadow is going to be the best Pokemon in this format. I think it's going to surpass Zacian this generation due to the fact that Zacian got an attack nerf, and this still can double hit Pokemon and gets a special. It outspeeds Zacian. It gets a special attack bonus on every KO that it picks up, and it can hit both sides of the field, like, which is just always, spread moves are always really good in VGC. So I think it will be better than Zacian this gen. I think these will be the top 4 restricteds out of this list. I don't know how Koraidon and Miraidon are going to fit into this list. They might be better, but we'll see. But based on this list, I think these are the top 4, and I think this is the order that they'll be in. And then these Eternatus might be better than this Dialga. I don't know about Palkia. So we'll see how it goes. But this is kind of like how I see these Pokemon. If you want to go ahead and pull up some. And the reason Glacier is kind of like behind Kyogre is because Kyogre is just a little bit more consistent. And Glacier did get nerfed as well. They nerfed the physical attackers. Not Glacier, Calyrex Ice. They nerfed the physical attackers, but not the special attackers. So Glacial Lance did get a nerf. It used to be 130, so it got a 10 damage nerf. Right? But like 165 base attack, 150 defense, 130 special defense. Like, this thing without Dynamax is like, oh my god, it's gonna be like the best Trick Room Pokemon ever. Like, it's so bulky. Like I said, you don't even, like, on these Pokemon and non-Dynamax, like, you don't need to invest into like your attack stat that much because it's already high, so you can just get really bulky. Like, this would like next to like Ting Lu and like Wo Chen, like the ruins. Like, it's gonna be so interesting, like how bulky these Pokemon get without like Dynamax, like dealing the extra damage and having like the extra bulk, you know. And like without Dynamax being in the field, you don't have to like hit things as hard as you used to. And then it's gonna get an attack boost every time it KOs something, right? So this, and then close combat, you definitely want to run Trick Room. Close combat is just for you to hit the steel types that resist you. Trick Room. What is this? Trick Room, and then Protect, just so you're consistent. And then you can go like Clear Amulet, which now it doesn't have to have White Herb, so you can't be so they can't cycle like Incineroar and things like that if Incineroar comes back. And then if you don't want to like be dropping your defense, you can always go Stumping Tantrum, right? It is weaker than High Horsepower, but it can't miss. And if they block it with a Protect, it's actually more powerful than High Horsepower. So I can argue that this might end up being better than High Horsepower, right? Because you don't have to worry. Like the thing about Calyrex Ice is on Incineroar, like if you get like the boost and you can knock out Incineroar, your out used to always be that 5% chance that High Horsepower can miss, right? And then you KO Calyrex with a Flare Blitz or like a Dark type attack, right? In return. So now that it can't miss, like if you like go into a Protect, like they Protect something, and then next turn you go Stumping Tantrum, 150 base power off this attack stat, and then you can like further push it. Like this Pokemon is gonna be so good, right? And then you can also go like body press, R defense. I used to use this set and then go like max defense. Well, you can leave your special attack there. Like you don't really need any other attack stats, right? Max your defense and put the rest in HP. Like something like this, and then like you iron defense and you pick up KOs with body press. Then your Glacial Lance is still like dealing good chip and taking things down that don't resist ice, and also like picking things up that are low HP. And you're still getting an attack boost every time you KO something with body press, right? And this is also like a good set. I wouldn't say Clear Amulet on this. I would say maybe like Citrus Berry for the extra recovery. Or maybe like even a Covert Cloak, since you don't have Protect. So you can't be faked out, right? And this can be neat. And like this doesn't really care about Intimidates, because you can get your attack back when you knock out stuff and you're going for like the body press defense. So Calyrex Ice is going to be incredible. Like I can't wait for the restrictors to come back. I know a lot of people don't like the restrictors because of how powerful they are, but there's a lot more balance now with the ruins. And I think it is going to be like, you know, back to a dual restricted format, but it starts with like a single restricted format, right? So we'll see how that goes. This Pokemon is going to be the best restricted from this list. You can choice Scarf it, choice Specs it. Focus Sash is usually the most consistent. And now you can Terror this. Astral Barrage is just crazy. Like only normal and like dark types can get away from him, right? And it's just dealing so much damage to everything. And then people usually run like Snarl, right? But now Dondozo exists, so you can have Taunt for Amoonguss, Will-O-Wisp. It gets like a ton. Like this is the only thing you need, and everything else can be support, right? It still gets Snarl, right? Yeah, it gets Snarl. You could run. What is it? You used to get like a ground type attack. You could like run Bulldoze next to like well, not really in this format, but you could run Bulldoze next to a flying type or like a Levitite user and just slow things down because it's so fast, and then you can like break sashes and KO. It gets Pollen Puff, so you can heal teammates. It's like the best like super offensive Pokemon that can also be like really good at being supportive, right? Even just a Focus Sash. It gets Haze, like you can Haze Dondozo. It gets Foul Play. It gets Encore, like Dark Pulse, Dark type. Dark coverage is not really like until like, well, when this comes, Dark type coverage will be good, but right now like Dark type coverage is not that good. Giga Drain, so you can hit Gastrodon. Like this, I can't believe how good it is. Like Nasty Plot, Substitute with Life Orb set, it's gonna be really good. Choice Specs with Trick, like oh my god, like this Pokemon is amazing. Like both of the Calyrex are amazing, but this one is just like 1A and then this is like 1B. But And only reason why this one is not as good as this one, even though it's still good, is because this one needs Trick Room to move first. Otherwise, it's getting outsped by everything, and it can take a lot of damage. While this one is just immediate offense. It doesn't need like setup. It sets itself up, you know. So that's the only difference between, like, even though this is a lot bulkier, it still needs like to be in Trick Room. So if you're like have a hyper offense team, you can deny this thing Trick Room and just continue to hit it first before it can move, then you're in trouble. But this thing, I would argue, in Trick Room is more scary than Calyrex Shadow, because in Trick Room, this going first is like a problem, right? Because it's so hard to KO, and it hitting you first and then you barely surviving and hitting and still not KOing it, like, makes this thing incredible. And the thing about this is, if you can survive its hits, it's very frail, so it's easy for you to KO it. But that's gonna be my list. That's why I'm gonna rank these. Let me know what you guys think about the restrictors coming back. Maybe a year from now, maybe next year. I'm not sure when they're gonna announce the restricted format. But let me know what your opinion is on them, if you like restrictors or not, or if you're excited about them coming back. If you like this video, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I will catch you guys in the next one. Alright, deuces.